Hey, I'm Mox and welcome to the video.
Fear has no form. Fear has no name. But now, fear has an address. Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, for your PlayStation. From Konami.
Hey, little buddy, want a ride?
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. I'll be right back.
Where can you catch all 150 Pokemon?
Yeah.
On your Game Boy, that's where. Pokemon for Game Boy is here. With both packs, you can catch them all. Games and systems sold separately.
Pokemon is an RPG fighting game that was released by Nintendo for the Game Boy in 1996, but only in Japan, and as time went on, the series got more popular and they started creating more games for it across the US. And then they decided to make this absolute banger of a game. Pokemon Stadium 2 for the Nintendo 64. I still say this is the best Pokemon game ever created, and that's mainly because it was the only and first ever Pokemon game I've ever played. And then we have Castlevania Symphony of the Night, also released in Japan but a year later in 1997 for the PlayStation 1 console. This game is a direct sequel to Rondo Blood and follows a man named Alucard supposed to fight back his immortal father Dracula from taking over the world. This game got so popular that they made a series about it on Netflix, literally titled Castlevania. So what do these two games all have in common? They're both 8-bit, so I thought I might compare these two games. Which monsters look like which Pokemon? So anyways, sit back and enjoy the video. I like to think of the wargs as Mischief from Gen 9, because don't they look alike? They both have the same color scheme. Kinda wish that hair was on top of the warg, but other than that, they look similar, don't they? This enemy is called Mudman and it can only be encountered while fighting the lesser demon in the library, but I think this reminds me of Muck from Gen 1 because think about it, they're both Mudmen, not the right colors, they aren't the same color, but they're pretty similar, they're both mud, so there you go, what do you want from me? Ignore my atrocious misspelling of his name, but the daughter bird is just Duduro, not to be mistaken for Dupixent. I really had a hard time coming up for a Pokemon for the Malachi. I nickname him the Brain Feeder. But no, but seriously, this guy looks like Malamar because of just how he looks from his body. Or just because he looks sinister and evil. I don't fucking know. There's not really a Pokemon that reminds me of this giant bat, but the closest thing that I've come to finding a big giant bat would be Northern from Gen 6. It's not the exact color scheme, but it's the closest we have to a giant bat. Next up we have the bats, and literally the thing I immediately think about when I see the bat is these bats. Were necessary. Look at their face! There aren't no merman Pokemon, but this technically is a fish, and the closest thing that I can think of is Magikarp. I immediately think of Magikarp, and they're both the same color, red, kinda red, so it goes. Lagua is weird, cause, I mean, I guess he's a bird, but the closest thing I could think of and immediately reminds me of is Pidgeotto. I mean, the color scheme kinda goes, but again, this monster's weird because, you know, I don't know if he's a bird or a fucking eagle. This has gotta be one of my favorite comparisons of all time because Gaibon, he literally looks like Moltres, Galarian style specifically, because the red and black, the bird itself doesn't look red, but I literally did Galarian just because he looks cool. Not for the comparison, but this is what I think about. Another one that has the same color scheme that I immediately get reminded about is Talonflame from Gen 6. They're both red and they're both like Hippogriff type Pokemon, but this is the closest thing we get to Hippogriff. Okay, this monster doesn't really remind me of any Pokemon, but I just did it just for the sake of the video. and I literally looked for a pose of this Vileplume from Gen 3 just because it looks like the same pose and has a flower on the top of its head, so yeah. Marowak from Gen 1, I don't care. Guy carrying a bone, Marowak. He's not really a dinosaur, but it's close enough. A guy carrying a bone, that's it. Cerberus, Houndoom from Gen 2, easy, fire guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna let you think about this one. I was gonna go for Impidimp from Gen 8's Evo, but it makes sense for this guy because, you know, size matters for this. So, one of the best female monsters in the game, but this goes to the Lilligant from Gen 5 because, you know, it's really not a person in a flower, but, you know, it looks the same color scheme too. Like the Malachi, this was, I had a hard time comparing this, but I actually thought of two Pokemon whenever I see this boss. And that is Ursaring from Gen 2 or Zamamenta from Gen 8, just because it's literally bear faces. And, you know, these bears kind of look like that Zamamenta because of the shield. They look like some, like, heroic bears, I don't know. Alright, you know I love my owls, I give praise to my owls, and I gotta give this owl to Noctowl from Gen 2. One of the best Pokemon in the game. You could see why. For the wolf, specifically the boss version in the Colosseum, is blue. I give this one to Lycanroc. I immediately think of this wolf because they're the same color, and I'm specifically using a Sun and Moon version from Gen 7 for this comparison. Whenever I see this Black Panther, I immediately think of Umbreon, even though Umbreon doesn't match up to the size of the Black Panther. They both technically are in the cat family, so there's that. This giant skull reminds me of Duskull from Gen 3. I know they're not the same size, but if I went with the smaller version of this enemy, it wouldn't make sense. Basically just a poison butterfly. One of the coolest looking enemies and bosses goes to Galamoth, and this also goes to Inteleon from Gen A. I know it's not exactly the same size, and the color scheme kinda matches, blue and yellow, and they're both lizards, so hey, gotta give you that. If you like this comparison video I did for you guys, I need you to do me a favor right now and hit that subscribe button and also turn on post notifications so you can see if I upload something similar to this channel next. See you later. Hey, congratulations! You made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed and you want to see more from me, hit that channel and press that subscribe button. Also, turn on post notifications so you'll get notified with every single upload. Okay, show's over, now go outside.